This is SoulCharge, the podcast for women leaders to take the highest level of ownership of their power to create results now. I'm your host, Stacy B. Let's dive in. On this episode of SoulCharge, we are going to discuss what happens that prevents us from taking the real action that we want to take, how we can be more conscious of intentionally designing not just our actions, but really connecting to the end result of what it is that we're after. And the few things that we can be conscious of as we're taking action to consciously be aware of and be connected to in the action that we're taking. Welcome back to this episode of SoulCharge, where we are talking about the importance of the mystical and the practical and the convergence of the two. It is so important to bring these worlds together, and it's why I have done this 4-part series on the topic of merging the mystical and the practical. If we can start to honor the magic that is us, the magic that is you, the components that make up you, and what you uniquely are designed to contribute to the world and create in the world. If we can take that internally, that fire, that inspiration, and connect it with the practical aspects of creation, then we certainly have hit the jackpot. I know when I was starting my career and journey of merging the mystical and the practical, I remember thinking, gosh, I wish there was a how-to book of taking the magic, the manifestation, the creation process that's within all of us and mixing it with how to practically be successful. And that is what this 4-part series is created to do, is to offer to you the awareness of what makes up the mystical and how to harness that for the highest and best good of all, and how to harness it as your superpower to merge with the practical and create incredible results in the world. So today's episode is focused on the practical, and it's practically focused on action. A topic that, as a high achiever, you are very familiar with, you are best friends with, and pride yourself and probably measure your worth, or at least used to, on how much you get done, on how amazing you are at taking action. And so when we talk about action today, yes, we're going to talk about the practical aspect of it, but we're really going to talk about how to merge the mystical and the practical, the internal state and the intentionality that, when mixed with action, not only makes the process a lot more enjoyable, but connects you to the outcome that you want in advance. And here's what we know is that when we connect to the outcome in advance, we call in that outcome quicker and easier into our lives. We call it in because there is clarity. And that's the first piece around action I want to dive into today with you, is that taking action for action's sake is not what this is about. Taking intentional action and aligning your action, not just with the outcome that you want, but aligning it with a level of intentionality that I really want to bring your awareness to. First and foremost, we have been conditioned and we have prided ourselves on the ability to take action. And a lot of times find ourselves running a different direction and waking up one day so engulfed and caught up in action that we don't even know what direction we're going, right? And so the idea around action, first and foremost, is you have to get clear. What is it that you want? And having that clarity and knowing that that's what's inspiring your action, just that conscious awareness alone is a huge shift. And I know that it seems so simple. It's like, Stacy, of course I need to be clear on what I want to take action to fulfill it. But I am here to tell you that the amount of successful women leaders that I speak to that don't have clarity on the thing in which is going to move the needle the fastest is truly surprising. It's astounding. And so if we can speak life into these little nuances that can better equip you to have that clarity, to take action, to fulfill what it is that you want, the easier it's going to be and the more fulfilling it's going to be, because when you have clarity and you take action to fulfill it, there's a different zest, there's a different energy that you bring to the table because you are aligned. When you have your outcome clear and your actions every single day are moving yourself and your life and your dreams forward to fulfill that clear outcome, there is a different level of connection. There's a different level of conviction that you're going to have. So the first thing that I want you to reflect on is the action that you're taking every day clearly moving you closer to what you want? And if you are not sure, or if the answer is no, the simple reflection point is, what is it that I want? And what are the 3 actions that I can take that are going to move the needle fastest to get what I want? Do you notice there that I said the fastest? If we ask a different question, we're going to get a different response. We're going to get more creative thought. So if you have an objective or an outcome that you are after, and you ask yourself, what are the 3 things that I can do to achieve this the fastest? You are going to get a different answer than what are the 3 things that I can do to achieve this? The whole point of this is, what is the most direct path to the outcome? If you have the direct path, then there's no need to zigzag back and forth and obviously not achieve the thing that you're after, right? And so that's the first reflection point for you, is what is it that I want? And what are the 3 things that can get me there the fastest? That's the first reflection point. So let's talk a little bit more about what's driving our action. You've most likely heard that your thoughts and your beliefs drive your actions. And that absolutely has truth. I want to expand on this a little bit more, because there's aspects to what I'm going to say to you today that are going to increase your awareness, and they're going to increase your belief about yourself and about your outcome. I often say to people, hang out with me long enough and you're going to believe in yourself, and you're going to go make all the shit happen that you've been wanting to make happen. And that is the promise here today. Is my goal for this episode is to have you have a different relationship with action. But beyond that, have a different relationship with how you see yourself in taking the action, and how you perceive the end result in the way in which you're taking action to fulfill it. So let's first talk about your thoughts and beliefs about yourself. Whatever it is that you are pursuing in life, if you think you're going to do it, if you think that it's possible, if you believe in yourself and you believe in your capabilities, that is your fuel, or the spirit behind your action. It is so important to continue to check yourself daily. Where are your thoughts and where are your beliefs? Because those are absolutely driving your actions. Not just the action, though, the way in which you're taking the action. If there is a doubt, or if there is a question mark, the way in which you are taking action is in hesitancy, or it could be avoiding it completely. And so checking yourself about how you're thinking about your capabilities and if it's possible is such an untapped resource. It's such an untapped reservoir of opportunity, because if you check yourself and you can correct your thoughts and beliefs that's fueling your action, you're going to get aligned. And I think there's a lot of conversation out there around aligned action. And when I talk about aligned action, what I'm really saying is aligning your thoughts and your beliefs with your action instead of taking action with a toxic reservoir, with a toxic garden. Because if you are doubting yourself or you're lacking confidence, that ultimately is a choice. You are choosing to lack confidence. You are choosing to doubt yourself. And in that lack and belief, that is what opportunities are responding to. And so you are basically cutting your nose off to spite your face. You are quitting before you even start by not checking your thoughts and beliefs as you take the action. It's essentially like you're taking action from a completely empty gas tank, reservoir, however you want to look at it. And so fill yourself up first, and then your actions aren't as heavy. If you do the internal work, combine that with powerful action, it is a delight. It is an adventure. It is so much fun because you're like, duh, of course it's working. I did the work of checking my beliefs and going all in on myself, and know that I have the ability to check myself and increase myself, appreciate myself, see myself as the wonderful, worthy, prosperous person that, of course, is going to get the results that I'm taking action to get. And so do that heavy lift, and the rest of it externally isn't as heavy. And it arrives in synchronicities, it arrives in serendipitous events, but it's on purpose. And I think that's the biggest thing I want to communicate to you is you have this incredible ability to take the time and be diligent, to know how you're feeling, to check your beliefs, and to reassociate and choose new beliefs and choose a new way of thinking about things. You have that ability. And so then you take that, you take your powerful action, and you go out into the world and not only achieve the things that you want, but you also inspire people in the process because you're looking at it from this holistic approach. And that's where truly your superpower lies. So it's first checking your beliefs and thoughts about yourself. The second part of action, as it relates to the internal game, pairing it with the action, is what are your thoughts and beliefs of what it is you're after? So, if you are after a worthwhile goal, if you are after a big vision, my question for you is what is your beliefs and your thoughts about that big vision? How do you want it to go? Have you asked yourself that question? Have you asked yourself, what are my thoughts about how hard or easy this pursuit is? Am I telling a story internally, our thoughts? Am I thinking a story internally? Am I telling myself a story internally that is supportive and exciting and nurturing about what it is I'm pursuing? Or am I complaining when there's so much opportunity and my capacity is weighed down? Am I telling a story about the path to get there is maybe something no one has done or something I haven't witnessed someone do? And so I don't believe it's totally possible in the way that I want to do it. Am I thinking those thoughts, or am I defining how it's going to go? And I just can't tell you what an opportunity this is for you if you take the time to define. Define how you want this to go. Define the intention. It's all about the intention behind the action. That's your fuel. You only have so much energy to exert every day. But when you pair it with your powerful inner state, with your ability to intentionally say, this is how I'm going to define how this is going to go, you take it up a notch. You put the power in your hands completely instead of leaving it up to chance. And that's truly what I want to invite you to have a new perspective about as it relates to action is not just another time management tool, but actually an energy tool. Actually going and being intentional, not just about your thoughts and beliefs and how you see yourself, but your thoughts and beliefs of how you see the situation going and unfolding. That level of attention to every outcome is going to make the journey so much more delicious. And also, you're going to have a great time in the process and be energized and not have to take so much of your energy in the lift, but it's a combination of the lift of the action and also the lift of your thoughts and beliefs about yourself and how the situation is going to go. There is this immense opportunity to start pairing your action with intention. So, what does that sound like? I'll give you a couple of examples just to play with this. Is if I am focusing on sales in one of my organizations, if I pair that lead generation activity, that could be reaching out to people on social media, it could be cold calling, whatever, avenue you're pursuing, I'm out there in the world taking action, right? I am taking action and have those KPIs on how many people I'm going to reach out to every day. But if I pair that with the intention that the right clients that are ready, willing, and able to take action and work with me today, if I have that intention paired with my action, I'm going to have a completely different experience. And I'm also going to tie into the law of vibration. Intentionality with that aligned action ties into the law of vibration, putting me in resonance with those right fit clients. There is an ease and a flow that's available to you when you start to harness that inner state and pair it with aligned action. A lot of times, what I see in the work that I do with women leaders is they're taking action, but not at the level that they really want to take or that they know is possible. And so if you are experiencing something that you're pursuing and you notice that you're hesitant or there's doubt or it just doesn't feel right. And I don't mean like it doesn't feel right, like you just don't feel like doing it today. I mean like the actions or the way in which you are approaching it, it feels unnatural. It feels like, you know what? This seems like someone else's model. It seems like someone else's approach, and it feels clunky, or it just feels like there's a way in which you want to try something. That tells us that you have an opportunity to check your inner state and to partner your inner state with that aligned action. And so, what that could look like is maybe the doubt and hesitation is because you're trying to use someone else's strategy that doesn't resonate with you. So, my question is, what does resonate with you? If you could pursue this worthy goal that you have, how would you do it? I'd like you to think about that and outline that and familiarize yourself with that, because the biggest innovations in all markets and all industries comes from someone asking that simple question. How's it being done? You don't like it. There has to be a better way. And by your leaning into and trusting your unique guidance system that says, gosh, that feels clunky to me, there has to be a better way, that all of a sudden opens up the next innovation that all of a sudden impacts thousands and generations, not just your life, but others. And I want to encourage you to start thinking like this, because a lot of times this is how it goes. This doesn't feel right. Don't take action. Don't get the results that I want. Repeat. This doesn't feel right. Okay, I'm going to change a couple of little things that actually don't move the needle. Progress. This doesn't feel right. And repeat. Not achieving what you want. And there is a better way. And there is not just a better way, but a way in which you get to enjoy the process and leave your unique mark in the way in which you want to move through the world. And so when you think about action, instead of just going out and taking action and massive action and increasing those sales metrics and increasing output, I want you to think about How can I increase the output, but checking the beliefs and thoughts I have about myself and the beliefs and thoughts and intentions that I have for the outcome? It is truly astounding to me every time I ask my clients this question: what is the outcome? What is your intention? Oftentimes I get two different answers. If we're just focused on the outcome and we're not focused on the intention, it's incomplete, because when you ask the intention, most often you get a different reply. And so if we can start to merge our outcomes and the intentions, you get into the world of aligned action. At the end of the day, you and you alone have to be 150% behind you and 150% behind the action you're taking. Some of you might want to launch something new or do something that you haven't done before. And this is where this tool and this episode can be of service to you in an increasingly helpful way, is because when women start new things after being extremely successful, that is when all of the unresolved stuff can come up. That is when your upgrade of your thoughts and beliefs are the ripest, is the greatest opportunity. Because oftentimes when you're starting that new thing, you're going all in on you in a different way. And so if that is you, know that if you just keep this close to your vest, close to your chest, and continue to check your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself and about what it is that you're pursuing, it's going to help you level out the practical and the mystical so that they can come together in harmony and work in unison to create what it is that you want. That's really what aligned action is, right? Is these two worlds colliding and working together. We've been taught to move forward with just the external world, leaving behind how we feel. That's why I dove into that in the last episode, right? Is just connecting to how you feel, because really harnessing your thoughts and your beliefs absolutely ties into your feelings. And it's very often that the thoughts and the feelings, right? Those go hand in hand and can throw you off very quickly. And so thoughts and beliefs about yourself and about the outcome are going to be huge. Are you a woman leader that is looking for more fulfillment, freedom, and purpose? Are you a successful woman leader that has created massive external success, but feel that there is this next level of what you're supposed to do? If either of those describe you, join us for SoulCharge's pop-up event, a live 2-hour event called Liberation. It's hosted the last week of every month at our headquarters in Boise. It's a 2-hour event that will be more valuable than the last event that you paid for, and it is free. We're going to dive into a powerful framework that will leave you with a fresh perspective, a clear path forward, and the conviction that you've been missing. Click the link in the podcast show notes for more information and how to register. We look forward to seeing you there. I want to leave you with a 3-step tool that you can use in any situation as it relates to your actions. To check yourself, the first question is it aligned action? Are my thoughts and beliefs about me aligned? Are my thoughts and beliefs about the outcome aligned? And when I say are they aligned, I actually mean, are they of the highest? Your thoughts and beliefs about you absolutely need to be perceiving yourself and seeing for you that anything is possible and that you are capable of absolutely anything. You can create anything that you want. Absolutely, hands down. That thought and belief and perception of yourself needs to be there. So that's the first invitation. The second invitation is, are you seeing that the outcome you're after is possible for you? Are you seeing that your thoughts and beliefs about the outcome are aligned with that becoming true? And that's the first question. Then the next question is, does that align with who you ultimately want to be? So often when we are pursuing a worthy goal, it is in large part because of the version that we become once we get there. And so to call that in advance and to connect to that person in advance, the question, does this align with who I want to be, can be so helpful. And you can start to be more intentional about your actions as it relates to that question. Are my actions that I'm taking today aligned with who I want to be? A lot of times, if you're not taking the necessary action, the answer is no. And you can easily assess what the gap is and realign yourself. Are my actions aligned with who I want to be? And then the last question is, am I taking relentless action? Am I leaving no stone unturned? Am I exhausting all options? Am I taking the action that Spirit has equipped me to take? Your ability to take massive action in your own way is a gift. And what you do with that gift is your gift to humanity and to the world. And so that question can be really humbling and a great gut check of, am I absolutely taking all the action in my power? Every time in my life that I have asked myself that question, I feel like I've always been able to come up with something more resourceful, more creative, or even a subtle action that I could add to what I was doing. And it wasn't coming from, I got to do more, I'm not doing enough. It's coming from a spiritual connection. It is coming from a question to say, you have so much power, right? Are you using it? Are you stepping into your power? Are you claiming your power? And I think for many of us leaders, there's always a little bit of a gap. There's always an ability to look at it a little bit differently and maybe be more effective. It's not always about doing more, and a lot of times it's about doing less. Future episode on that later. But it's like a lot of times you're not doing the action that's supporting your goals. You're doing the action to please someone else. A lot of the times there's a gap between how you could gain more leverage to make your actions fulfill your goal. There's a gap there and you could close it. Versus a lot of times the action is what's being asked of you right now, right? How can I react to what's being asked and get this done? Get this done. And so it's like zooming out and saying, is this aligned with who I want to be? Do I want to be someone or a leader that just gets things done? Or do I want to be a leader that is aligned, harnessing the gifts of my internal state and partnering that with my ability to create externally? Do I want to be known for that? That's the invitation to align yourself to the highest version of you. That's who's calling. If you're listening to this episode right now, it is because your next level of yourself is ready. The tools that I've left you with today can get you started, can realign. A lot of you listening, it's not about getting started, but it's about claiming the next level. It's about defining the next level. And having aligned action is a huge part of not just defining the next level, but claiming it today. So take these tools and start to check yourself and commit to moving through the world more so in aligned action, purposeful action. And this simple act of being more conscious is absolutely going to call in the results faster and with more ease. Are you loving SoulCharge? If so, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share an episode. We want to bring powerful content to women leaders each week so that women can be unleashed to create the results that they want now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.